with hostilities against America growing in Somalia. The U.S. military begins preparing its special forces at Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Our objective there was to go and capture Mohammed Farah Aidid.
Mogadishu has become one of the great arms markets of East Africa.
If it launched a bullet or exploded, they had it in Somalia.
Two of these Tier 1 personalities were Omar Salad and Hassan Awale. Both of them were spotted at a rally in Mogadishu on Sunday, October 3rd, and were followed from this rally back to a house in central Mogadishu near the Olympic Hotel in the Bakara Market.
Delta commanders retreat to the Joint Operations Command Center, or JOC, to formulate a plan. Delta Force will insert directly to the target building via MH-6 Little Bird helicopters. While Delta operators arrest the prisoners, 4 teams of Rangers, known as Chalks, will fast rope to the ground from Blackhawks and provide perimeter security for Delta. The Blackhawks will then serve as air support above the target house. A convoy of 12 vehicles, already en route to the target building, will evacuate all soldiers and prisoners back to the Ranger base.
Suddenly, the men looked up and saw an explosion on the tail rotor of one of the Black Hawk helicopters.
That changed the mission, of course, from an assault to a rescue operation.
The ground convoy is ordered to make its way to the crash site. Less than an hour into the Battle of Mogadishu, pilot Michael Durant's Black Hawk is struck by an RPG.
You had a fierce firefight going on around the first downed Black Hawk. You had a convoy of vehicles that was trying to find its way to that spot and got lost. And then, to top it all off, a second Black Hawk crashed. Michael Durant's helicopter goes down. So at this point, too many things are going on at the same time, and the convoy is getting increasingly lost and cut to ribbons by the now thousands of armed Somalis who have massed in this neighborhood.
As the mob takes Michael Durant into captivity, the vehicle convoys begin to fight their way out of the city.
And a decision was made with all the confusion going on that the thing to do was just to get back to the Ranger base and figure out what the next move would be.
Despite making it back alive, the men realize that their friends are still out there and that they'll be going back out.
You don't have any choice. You have to go back out there.
The force that moved out on foot to get to the first Black Hawk crash site ended up strung out over about a 2-block area on a sort of a rough L shape.
Between midnight and 1 o'clock, we finally launched this convoy, this multinational convoy.
The plan is to evacuate all remaining soldiers 1 mile north to a soccer stadium controlled by Pakistani peacekeepers.
Not more than a minute down the road, Paulson yelled down to me, "Hey, Sharon, I got some guys running down the road after us." I said, "Well, Paulson, shoot them up, fire them up." And he said, "No, those look like our guys." I looked behind me in the rearview mirror and I saw about a dozen people running down the road. And running at a full speed, they had their weapons up, and clearly it looked like our guys.
So they were literally forced what they called the Mogadishu Mile. They ran out of the city, once again under increasing fire from all directions.
October 4th, 1993. America awakens to images of horror.
My fellow Americans, today I want to talk with you about our nation's military involvement in Somalia.
Like most Americans, I was obviously really shocked and confused. I had to be able to answer that question that occurred to me when I first saw those pictures of the dead Americans being dragged through the streets, and that was, how did the Somalis gone from being, the grateful recipient of international aid to, an army at war with American soldiers, angry to the extent of not just killing them, but, dragging their bodies through the street.
The Clinton administration responds with a show of force, with thousands of additional troops and an armada of warships parked off the coast of Somalia. The show of force by the Clinton administration is simply that. A decision had been made to cease all operations in Somalia and make a gradual withdrawal.
General Colin Powell, who was then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, made the remark to me that in Vietnam, losing 18 men on an engagement wouldn't even have been significant enough to hold a press conference. But what he well knew was those 18 American soldiers would weigh very heavily in the United States in forming, political decision and public decision. And those deaths in Somalia ended the mission, and so in that sense, they won the battle, but they lost the war. Winston Churchill said, we'll fight them in the air, we'll fight them on the water, we'll fight them on the beaches, we'll fight them from the cliffs, we'll never, never surrender. Well, this episode sent the message that, we'll fight them on the beaches and we'll fight them on the hills, but if they kill a few of our soldiers, we'll give up and go away.